Okay, so I don't want to go too much into, using a whole bunch of indicators and stuff like that. So I'm going to, because you guys can't be looking at the charts 24/7, right? So we'll go through a few strategies, like mainly using the MACD to confirm stuff, the RSI, and using our support and resistance. Okay. So before that, a lot of us can get caught up with, wanting to make, 60, 70, 100% profits on each trade, right? But I would like y'all to look at it in such a way where y'all break it down, okay? So generally, if y'all make 100% return on investment per month, I think that would be fantastic, right? So because now let's say in Sri Lanka, okay, if you put in 100,000 and you make 100,000 a month, that doing just looking at the charts per day, just once or twice, that would be better than any job you could do here, right? So depending on where you are, depending on how much you're putting, okay. So to run through what I mean, okay. So in case you all don't know how exactly futures works with leverage. So if you use a 2x leverage, you would need the market to go up by 50% to have a 100% return on investment. Okay. So a 10x leverage means you need the market to go up by 10% to have a 100% return on investment. So if you have a 10x leverage and the market goes up by 0.33%, that's a 3.33 return on investment. Okay. So if you can do that every single day for a month, you would have 100% return on investment. Okay. So you only need, now I need futures, right? So if it's on spot, you can't make money if the market goes down. You can only make it when the market is going up. So all you have to do per day is to make a trade where the market moves 0.33% in either direction, and you'd have 100% return on investment for that month. Okay. So that's, if you can break down your big goals of how much margin, like how much money you want to make, it's much easier and much more straightforward if you can break them down into tiny parts and then add them over the month. Okay. So next up, I'm going to talk about a simple strategy that, so I just drew this chart today, okay, just before we started this meeting, and I drew it on this. So what, now you guys must be also wondering, how do we select which token to use on futures, okay? And okay, so Vishal will speak after this. For me personally, we have our investments, the investments we talk about. So what I like to do is when I wake up in the morning, I would like to draw this chart, see where we are at. So if we are at resistance and if we are at support, okay? So either way, if we are in the middle, then I would like to look at something else. So if we are at resistance, then I would like to see if I can short that investment, or if we are at support, I would like to see whether we can long that investment, okay? So strategy wise, I know that you guys all have jobs or, other stuff to do throughout the day. So y'all can't, always be looking at the chart. So that's why I said, before you guys make a trade, have a goal. What's your profit margin, where you want to take your profits, where you want to keep your stop loss and stuff like that. Okay. So like keep an idea on how we said for a month, 100% return on investment, something like that. Okay. So let's say now we start the chart here. Okay. The first thing what I do is you draw a line for the uptrend. Okay. So that's now uptrend before we have a pullback. Okay. So that's what this yellow line is. Okay. Then I want to see where we have that pullback, where it ends. So that means where we start, where this recorrection ends and where we start the uptrend. Okay, so that's this point here. Okay, now I want to see what's the highest this goes, okay, before we break this line for a downtrend. So the highest we go is this point. Okay, now the other thing I want you all to do is every time you all draw these lines, draw a support and resistance. Okay, so we go here, we draw this red line as the resistance line. Okay, then we head down here and this is our support. Okay, so from here I want to see again the highest it goes before we break this line. Okay, so we don't really play with all these miniature movements right now. Okay, so this is the highest we go. It's the same resistance line, and then we break this support here. So I'm looking for where do we break this support. So the lowest this goes, so this move, the lowest it goes, breaking this. And then I want to see the uptrend to where it goes past this support line. Okay, so we break this here. This is the lowest we go after breaking this before we have an uptrend to go past this support line. Okay, so that means this is our next support line here, and this is our next resistance line. So we repeat that step. Where do we go the lowest, breaking this before we have a reversal to go above this support line? So we break it here, and then this is where we go above this here. So we draw the resistance line. This again finds resistance at the same point. Okay, and then again same logic. Where is the lowest we go breaking this line here, this green line, before we have an uptrend to re-break this line to the top? Lowest, and then this is the move right now we are at currently. Okay, so once you draw these lines on all your investment charts, it's easy to wake up in the morning, see where we are right now, and then decide whether you're going to short it or long it. Okay, the hardest part is set up a few hours to draw these lines, draw these trend lines. I mean, you know the other ways of drawing it, right? Using the fib extension and stuff like that. So this is one way I like, because even on the Bitcoin charts, we saw how, so this is similar to our 3-point move, right? So we saw how strong the 3-point move, the accuracy of that was, right? In terms of analyzing the trend. So right now, I personally like looking at the 4-hour chart, okay? And I like confirming my decisions before it happens on the 4-hour chart using the 2-hour chart. Okay, so now I just want to know, is everyone okay with how to draw these lines, or would you like me to run through that again?
Do the new lines, do they become your new support lines and new resistance lines, replacing the ones in the middle? Or do you still consider the ones in the middle as support lines?
We still consider the ones in the middle as support.
And I presume you're doing this in Binance as a toolkit, like to draw these horizontal lines and stuff like that.
Yes, you can use Binance. Like for some reason, for me, my Binance charts don't open up, so that's why I use TradingView. But you can use it on Binance as well. So if everyone is okay with how it draws, I mean, I can run through it again if you need. But if you all are okay, I'm going to now show you how to make decisions how I make decisions on whether to go long or short. Okay. So right now so this is where we are going down, right? So, when the MACD crosses, MACD over the signal line going down, we have a downtrend, right? So if we were making a decision based on the 4-hour chart, this is where we would be going short, okay? Because we see that resistance, that we face resistance here, okay? Yeah, we face resistance here, and our MACD is crossing over the signal line, and we are going down, okay? However, before that happens, okay, I would generally, if I go to my 2-hour chart, we can see that we would have made that decision 2, 4, 6, 8, about 8 hours ago, okay? Because we can see what happens on the 2-hour does contribute to our 4-hour. The same way how we identify 4-hour trends to see how it affects the 1-day chart. It's a similar thing, okay? So you use your 2-hour chart to identify the 4-hour trend before it happens, okay? So we can see it cross here. As we cross here, we do a short order. So stop loss will be above this line, okay? Because we're having a short. If we do go above this line and make it support, we have broke resistance and we're going to go up, okay? So that's where I would place my stop loss, just above this. And then we would keep the short position open until we see either a cross or multiple decreasing histogram bars, okay? Increasing histogram bars. That's where I would, okay? So considering where I said to make 100% return on investment, okay, let's just go to the 4-hour to show it better, okay? So we only needed the market to move 0.33% for that day to achieve our goal for a 100% return on investment per month, right? So let's say we made our short order here as it crossed, okay? So I want you to look up just under the 2-hour Binance. You'll see the percentage change in each bar, okay? So from here, this bar to this bar was 0.16. We still have our trade open, 0.60. We have already achieved what we want for that day in just 4 less than 6 hours, okay? So depending on how you want the profit margin you want for a month, set it up the way you want. And I'm pretty sure you can achieve it if you break down your big targets into small targets, okay? So when do we close this position, okay? Now this is support. This is a support line. We drew that. This was support from here, okay? So this was a major support level, okay? So what we are looking for here is once we either start having if we start having increasing histogram bars around here, we want to be ready to close our position. If we see a cross and we see this line holding as support and we see the MACD recross, we want to check our 4-hour as well, see where we are on the 4-hour. 4-hour also, if we have about, if we start seeing decreasing histogram bars on the 4-hour, we close our position. We have had a good short from here to here, okay? So that's pretty much how we do, how I would do futures. Wake up in the morning, pick the chart. You've already drawn the trend lines. You pick the chart and you decide exactly where we are going, what's the profit you want to make for that day on that particular trade. Anything more is amazing. And be happy once you reach your target. Don't get too greedy. Always look at how the chart moves, okay? Don't make decisions based on what you think is going to happen. Make decisions on what the chart's communicating. So that's pretty much a simple strategy, I would say, to make your futures trades and profit margin ratio. Any questions before I hand over to Vishal?
If you were somewhere in the middle, would you enter a position like, it's kind of an uptrend, but somewhere in the middle, Or would you just stay away from it because it's hard to put your stops and things like that?
Yeah, I would personally stay away from it because I would rather make decisions with a much more clarity rather than, guessing if it's in the middle. I can't really make a decision, right? If I'm in the middle of support and resistance, it can go either way.
Got it. Thanks.
No worries. Anybody else? Any other questions? Okay, stop sharing. Vishal, do you want to take over?
Yeah, sure. Let me just talk to you guys. So, guys, like what? Just give me a second. Like what Donit said, I don't use a lot of indicators either. It's not always too good to figure out too much. It's a lot of noise in the market. You should try your best to just cut them out. I use RSI, MACD. It's the same indicators that Donit talks about. But one thing I think the majority of the people believe in is the Elliott wave theory. Yeah. Do you trust in that, bro? Do you believe in the Elliott wave?
Elliott wave theory. Yeah, I have heard of it. Yeah.
So the thing is, you need to understand how the market moves. It's how the majority of the players think, right? You need to try and get a good idea of their psychology, what they're feeling, their greed. So Elliott wave theory is a good indicator for you to like figure out where the market is going. It's not a super simple theory and everyone has a different opinion, but you can count where, like, let's say fine, you find your support, it's good. Till your next resistance, you're gonna count your 5 waves and then you're gonna count the correction wave. That's a super important thing in the market, I would say. That's one of the main indicators I use. Next up, let's talk about how to pick the coin. Yeah, that's what you wanted, right? So have you guys heard of coin market calendar?
I have
It's,
not.
just search it up on Google. I just want to show it to you guys.
Okay.
It's a super insightful tool. It's going to show you like what kind of news and events these coins have upcoming.
Okay. Let me share my
You can have a
screen.
good idea like where the liquidity is going to flow in the market.
So this one, yeah.
So yeah, it looks like this. Yeah. So like you can see the upcoming events, the dates and all. Yeah. So like it's still a lot of information, but you can just search it up. Type Alice for me. It's on
Where
coins.
on keywords, right?
Just coin.
What's the word?
Next one in the coins, just type Alice. So I wanted to show you guys how I open a trade because I just took one last night. Hey bro,
Ah,
Alice,
A
my
L.
neighbor, LICE.
Ah, okay, okay, got it, got it, got it.
Yeah. Then just hit search on the right. Yeah.
Did it
Try
work?
again.
No, no.
No, it didn't work.
Okay, let me go to coins. Okay, and search.
Is it my neighbor Alice?
Yeah. You guys heard of this, right? It's a gaming token.
Yeah, I have.
Oh,
Okay.
So, like I opened a trade yesterday after checking this. You can see how it's got so many events coming up in the next 1 to 2 weeks. Like this one website I use to identify where liquidity is going to flow next in the market. So this will show you the kind of like the events that it has, the dates, and also it's a good idea for you to pick up after you figure out your graphs. Graphing is one thing. Yeah, I do check my graphs, but there's always manipulation in the graphs. And if you're trading like daily, let's say 15 1 hour graphs, it's quite tough. I also don't do it.
Yeah.
I keep my trades either 4 hours or 1 hour because when I try to use like really low leverage, that's the best advice I can say. Like Dunit said, yeah, if you use 10% leverage and the market moves 10%, you make 100% win. But it's not it's just as easy to make 100% loss. See, just open Alice on the graph for me. I can show you where you know
Yeah.
the information is gonna come up.
Sure. Give me 1 second.
Guys, sorry, I don't have my laptop with me, so it's really tough.
Is for our chart.
Daily is also fine.
Okay.
Let's go daily. We'll see the bigger picture.
Okay.
So guys, you can see if we draw the trend line support, this all the way down, we have got a decent bounce.
You want me to draw with the fib?
Even with the fib, go for it.
Yeah, perfect.
And just draw for them the line, bro. I want them to see the line from the bottom. You see where you drew the fib trend,
Right.
bro? Just connected, yeah. You see, that's the bounce I was looking for. I think
From here, you
here's
want
candles, right?
here?
Oh yeah, somewhere like that.
Yeah.
So
if we connect it here, then we could really see a bounce.
yeah, that's the bounce I looked at, and this is the reason I opened my trade. And I know how Dunit just said he would look for the bounce and enter, but I'm someone who enters after I get the confirmation of a higher high.
Hmm.
It's something I do. It's just a way for me to reduce my risk because it bounces on every support, guys. It's how the market works. You're gonna get a small bounce. You're just not sure if you need to enter there. So what you look for is, like Dunit said, the same indicators. You look for the MACD. You can see the histograms have started building up.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing with the RSI. Yeah, we haven't got a superb RSI bounce, but it's all looking for confirmations. I only check the price action, and I'm gonna trade this till it makes a lower low, basically.
And then where would you put, Vishnu, where would you put
Yeah.
your stop loss here? Is it like right below the support line, basically? Is that where you put the stop loss?
If you look at my stop loss, I put about 13. It's just below the support line, I believe.
Yeah, just below, just at the
Yeah.
support. Yeah.
But one thing I normally do is I do give a lot of breathing space for my stop loss because something I believe is we are in the most manipulative market. Like, the whales, they are going to eat up your liquidity. Everyone can see where they would put the stop loss. Yeah, it's 13. Like
Yeah.
anyone
You
with
don't want to,
common sense would go for that.
so you don't want to choke it based. Oh, I see what
Yeah.
you mean. So you go a
I'm
little
going
bit
to give
lower
it a
than
bit
that.
more breathing space.
Right. Otherwise, you get chopped out and
Yeah, like the
then-
whales, they'll come and eat up our liquidity, and that's how it works.
Yeah, I would agree as well. I mean, I think I wrote a report some time ago on psychology of trading. So I would
Yeah.
most definitely expect all of you all to read that so you can understand how it actually works. Yeah.
I don't treat my futures any different than I would do a spot trade. I understand, like, so many guys, they think it's something new. They get really paranoid about it and they think too much. But if you use less than 5 to 10 times leverage, I think you can treat it as a spot trade.
Yeah, and
It
especially
also depends on your time duration. Like some people, and especially in Sri Lanka, I met so many people who thinks they need to close their trade when they're going to sleep. They try to keep one trade per day, but I'm not like that. I keep my trades running for 14, 15 days.
Yeah, even with me right now, I have 3 futures trades open. I would think if I'm going to put it on a spot with the same, if how I'm thinking is like if I'm going to keep it on spot and I know, okay, we have already had, you know, a 38% correction, right? We are not going to have another 50% correction. So if we have another 50 from here, that would be into a bear market, right? And we know that this cycle is still not over, lengthening cycle theory. I've explained that. So if I put a 2x or a 3x on one of my investments, and I sent a video on the group as well on how to, you know, bring your liquidity down to zero as well. So if you keep it at 2 or 3x after we have had a 38% correction, I would say that's quite safe. If you keep, and I'm keeping my future trades open till the end of the cycle, which is going on to like Q2 next year. So that's how I'm doing my future trades right now. Vishal, what do you think of that? Yeah.
I agree with you. It really depends. There are two, you call them scalp and swings.
Yeah.
You need to understand which one you want to do, like which one is better for you. If you're someone who can't deal with a big loss percentage, you're gonna panic, then go for swings. You can use less leverage and just keep it running. Don't worry too much.
Yeah.
Also, like you said, yeah, I don't think this cycle is close to its end.
Definitely. I mean, I put a picture. I have not put it in the market update, but I did upload a picture of all the cycles that we have been having. Let me see if I can find. Let me see if I can find that. Yeah. So what that showed was that how over time how the cycles lengthened and we had diminishing returns. If I can find that. Yeah. There we go. Okay, so you can see when we drew the 2011 bull run. So this was using TradingView. I copied each cycle and I plotted them over each other, okay, from the start point. So this was our 2011, 2013, 2017, and 2021. So this was when we had our May crash. We were above schedule. So it was expected to have a correction, and now we are going on due course. So we can see how the cycles lengthened over time, and we can see that there are diminishing returns, right? So I expect this to go around, you know, somewhere here for by Q2 2020. And then, yeah, it's a good chance, you know, a lot of people saying we're going to have a super cycle and all that, but psychology of trading, taking that into account, and since, you know, we have always had multi-year bear markets, I'm not going to say that the bear market we go into next is going to last exactly 3 years, but when you take how psychology works with people, they'll all be willing to sell when we hit some exact points, like for example Ethereum at 10k or BTC at 100 to 125k, so something like that. So even on, so I would say, you know, keep your feet if you're doing a spot order at a time like this, I would say, okay, and you want to be keeping that spot order till the end of this cycle, there is a good chance you might want to do a 2x and then keep it, because you only need the market to go up by 50% to make 100% return on investment. So that's kind of my thinking and how I approach the problem. And I think Vishal also has shared the website that we can look at, and, you know, spoke about trends and how he puts his orders as well. Vishal, anything else you want to add?
Hmm. What are you thinking about Q1 next year? How high do you think we're gonna go?
I would
And are
say
you anticipating a bear market?
I am anticipating okay, if we see a blow off top, then
Mhm.
yes. If we don't see a blow off top and we see, you know, a gradual accumulative increase, then I highly doubt, I am skeptical of having a multi-year bear market. That's how I'm looking, and considering the total MCAP as well. So considering all those three putting together, that's what I think.
True, true. Guys, anyone has any questions you want to ask?
Vishal, do you do a lot of shorting as well on the short side as well?
I almost never short.
Always long at this point.
Yeah, I never short because One thing is people don't like it when I short. And the other thing is it's almost impossible to catch the top. You see, it's a lot of psychology for me because when you think of the coin in your head, you know the normal thing is prices go up, yeah.
Yeah.
I always look at the long term. I know prices go up. So if you're trying to short it and the price is going up, there's almost an infinite number it can go up. So it's very hard for me to DCA my shorts.
Sure.
I always like long in. Let's say I spoke to you about Atom, right?
Right. Right.
So it was a falling wedge, and many people don't like it because it keeps making lower lows. It's
Right.
a really good time to short also because you keep making lower lows and lower highs. What I do is on every lower low, I would buy the dip,
Okay.
and I would just keep buying the dip because I know eventually it's gonna break out, and the longer the
Right.
accumulation, it's like the breakout is bigger. That's how it works.
So did you like you were talking about your longer term strategy? Did you continue to hold Atom like it's now I think around 31 or something like that? Good 10
I
points.
it hit my take profit. I was asleep. I think it was about 30.5 my take profit.
Okay.
It hit in my
And
sleep.
and then would you like if you go into Q2 and if your prediction comes true, if it goes sort of into a bear market territory, then would it be easier to short at that point, basically, where you know that there's a lot of correction kind of happening or going to happen, basically?
What
Is that the
I
right?
would do is like everyone does a different thing, but here's like openly, I'll tell you what I'm doing. I have put 70% of my funds into stable coins now.
Mhm.
I am anticipating a bear market. It's just I see it happening. So what I would do is no, I would not short it. I'll just keep buying the dip.
Okay.
It's on spot. So for the next 22 for the whole of the year, I would anticipate it's a big bear market. I would just buy the
What's
dip.
your what's your thoughts, Vishal, like and Dunit, about, let's say, you know, if you look at our report, right, daily report, you see sort of very traditional, sort of the not traditional, but the more status quo coins, right? So you'll basically see Bitcoin and Ethereum and so forth. But if you look at the meta space and sort of the altcoin space, you see some massive gains. Like right now, for instance, Matic has been on a tear. Luna, Atom, obviously, FTM, a lot of them have been on massive gains, basically. Would you look at those? Do you think those might independently move, basically, continue to move up, different spaces, basically, that are not sort of the more commonly traded crypto tokens?
Yeah, I mean, for me personally, I would say that yeah, they definitely will because like I think in a lot of okay, so except for FTM, I think all the other tokens I've introduced as potential good investments and just before they
Okay.
had their bounces, right? So when I do introduce, like I might not talk about them like every single day because like you can't
Yeah.
spread out your portfolio too much.
Right.
So,
Right.
but when I do introduce them, I like give a in description as well, right? So just check that out because those anything that
Sure.
I produce do have potential because each one of them has a different use case. For example, like we when we took a look at the metaverse and NFT investments, we talk about Mana, Sand, ENJ, Axie Infinity. So Mana and Sand they help you build your own metaverse, while ENJ is helps you for the it's the pretty much the NFT ecosystem, and Axie
Right.
Infinity is crypto gaming. So right now that's the what do you call the hype, right? So we do expect all of those to go up because each one of them have a different a use case for the metaverse. That's what I think.
Right. Right.
So, see the metaverse, that thing like Facebook and all these big companies started like promoting, right? Their logos, even they have changed it to Meta, that thing, this thing. So metaverse, I mean I think what Mena, Decentraland,
Yeah.
I think that has really big potential, right, to go up because the big fellows are like looking and they're changing their logos and all. They think that's the new Web 3.0 and stuff. And I think I don't know how it might go next year. I think it will be a really good investment, right?
Yeah, that's just wondering if if let's say Bitcoin flattened out or even pull back a little bit, if some of these others will continue to ramp.
Oh no, I highly doubt it. Bitcoin is the market mover. If Bitcoin falls, everything will fall. But recovery wise, we might have like, okay, let me draw this out, right? Let me just draw it out. Vishal, do you have anything to say before I draw this?
No, I just want to say you also need to still understand a bit more about liquidity. See, all the hype these days have been metaverse, right? So when Bitcoin, the price falls down, the total market cap comes down, that's when the liquidity goes into metaverse coins, all these coins, low caps and big caps. That's why we see quick recovery in those, because that's where everyone is putting their money. That's all the hype. Few
Right.
months before it was NFTs and then metaverse. Before that, I know DeFi coins used to pump. It flows with Bitcoin. When Bitcoin goes up, these things they have a bigger percentage return. Let's say Bitcoin goes up by 1%, you can see 10-20% gains on these coins. But
Yeah,
then when Bitcoin dumps, what happens is the total market cap dumps.
correct.
You get 10-20% loss on these coins.
Yeah. So just to iterate that in like if we draw it out, okay. So what happens right now is okay, let's if we talk about horizontal movement. So we know that if BTC goes down, let's say okay, BTC goes down, okay, all altcoins will fall further. So what happened during BTC is horizontal movement, okay. So BTC went like this, like this, like this, right? So even though BTC was moving between 45 and 48K, so let's put that at 40. I am extremely bad at drawing, so forgive me. So even though BTC moved between 45 and 48, we saw that the altcoins bled so much, right? That's because just like how Vishal was saying about liquidity and all that, when we, even though Bitcoin hits here and we recover, altcoins don't recover at the same speed, right? So the altcoin would recover. So altcoin would recover like this, somewhere up to here. Then BTC falls again. So altcoins fall further. We rise, but we don't rise at the same rate as Bitcoin. So when again Bitcoin does that dip, we go lower. Okay. So that's pretty much how why all coins bleed more during horizontal movement and downward trends, and the recovery is kind of slower, unless it's the hype. That's pretty much the visual representation of that. I hope everyone understood that. Vishal, you think that's correct?
Yeah, what you said is 100% correct.
Yeah. Any other questions or doubts or anything you guys want to clarify?
This is great. Thanks, guys. Really appreciate this insight. Um, what I might do is actually, for myself, as part of this group, I want to test out a few things over the next week, and maybe if you have more questions, maybe we can post it in the group, or I don't know if we can do another 30-minute session somewhere down the line. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, sounds good. I think we should do like, this kind of a session every month, maybe, so that people can, ask questions. We can have some, back and forth, and have some visual representations, live chats, stuff like that. Yeah, guys.
That'd be awesome. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, that'll be good.
Yeah, it's also, I think if we can also keep the group a little bit interactive, like around, some of the movements that are happening. I mean, you spoke about some of the hype cycles and things like that. I'm relatively new to this space. I mean, I kind of got involved in this early this year. I had a big boom, and then I had a big bust, wipe out, and I'm starting back fresh again. Essentially, I still have faith that it'll pan out well for me. But sort of looking at, I've sort of looked much broader this time, and like I'm looking at, like you were talking about the hype cycle. So like looking at things like Gala, for instance, like in the meta space, or, what are the new things that are happening? It's the same in the equities market too, right? I mean, I do more equities actually than I do in Bitcoin. And it's the same thing. Hype is really, I mean, at one point, like last year, it was, the pandemic stocks, then it was cloud, then it was electric cars, and now I'm not even sure what it is, because it's, the broader market pulled back quite a bit actually in the last 3 weeks or so in the stock sector. It's just recovering now. Yeah, so I mean, they also have hype cycles like that, like, some companies just go through the roof. I mean, 500,000% sometimes, in a few days, because of hype cycles. But it'd be good to know like where the crypto space is also going. I'm sure they have similar hype cycles that keep emerging as others die off, basically.
I personally think metaverse is coming up. Like everything's going to move in there, and Web 3.0. So which would be the decentralized version of the current internet, right? So develop, like, I would say if you can study coding and stuff like that, Web 3.0 development is going to be the next big big sector, I would say. And anything that's going to help develop Web 3.0 would be where the hype would flow to. So metaverse and Web 3.0 without any doubt.
Yeah, I'm also sure that's where the liquidity is flowing next year, Web 3.0. Good to pick up some coins now.
Yeah, it'll be great to know like who are the big players, for instance, in that space. And it seems like a few people talk about it, right? I mean, it was, I think, even NFTs, that conversation started with, Jack, from Twitter, talking about it a couple of years ago. I mean, it was around for a while, but he kind of brought it into the limelight. And next thing you know, I mean, the stock market too, there were a few stocks that just kind of went through the roof because they, like TCAT, Takunga, and stuff like that, because they were associated with NFTs, and the same thing happened in the crypto space as well. So it'd be great to know like who's kind of the big players in this Web 3.0 space that are probably going to explode in the next few months.
Yeah, I mean, I'll definitely look into Web 3.0 investments as well, and during the market updates, try and update you guys on that as well. Yeah.
That'd be great. Do you sort of, is it appreciated? I didn't want to sort of share too many things that I'm learning as well. Like I found a few things, but I maybe I'll just pass it through you so that you can post it if you think it's useful. I don't want to like flood the group with anything, that
Yeah,
I was kind of
sure.
learning about.
Yeah, you can just send it through me, and I can check it out and then verify it and then put it in the group. So no worries.
Sure. Okay, sounds good.
Perfect. I hope everybody enjoyed this. At least we recorded it for the guys that couldn't attend this, and I'll upload it and send the link on the group.
Yeah,
Thanks.
awesome. Really, it was really helpful. I mean, I also at start, I use futures and I use like strategize many indicators. And then hearing you guys really use this simple stuff, it really simplifies things. It's really big help.
Yeah.
I mean, there's now, that trend lines and just MACD and RSI, just stick to these basics. I mean, it's really big help. Thanks.
Do you want to tell us what indicators you're using?
Basically, honestly, I mean, at the start, it was really going well for me. The thing is, then I over leveraged stuff and it was really going good. I started becoming more greedy, and then I over leveraged and I blew my account basically. So again, now I'm currently trading another base account, learning from my past mistakes. Mostly, what you guys said, and the problem is main thing I use lower time frames like 15 minute and stuff, because I started getting greedy. Then I think that's the main issue. After that, I started focusing on like 1 hour, 4 hour, and then I realized like it's not a big thing only when because I want like small movements. I want profit and I want to get out of my trade. I have no patience. Like I start now, I'm really trying to like be patient and wait for a trade to close and low leverage, and that's what I'm also trying to learn from you guys. Yeah, and stochastic RSI, yeah, that's the only other extra indicator I might use.
Yeah, that's also complementary with RSI.
Yeah.
A lot of
Yeah,
things you need to understand is like it complements each other. Like let's say someone using fib, it's going to give you the same key levels as someone using the Elliott wave theory or support and resistance. It's the whatever you use at the end of the day, you come to the same key levels. That's why I
yeah,
suggest you to use less indicators so your head is more open. You see the bigger picture.
yeah. Again, like I mean, keep a session like this every month is really, really helpful.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'll
definitely.
be more prepared next time. I also want to talk to you guys about Trading Light. I don't know if any of you use it, but it's a superb website. It's like for graphing, but they have a lot of indicators. It's a, it's not that basic, but I'll talk to you guys about that. I'll either make you guys a small presentation for not being prepared, or we'll do it next month.
Yeah, that would be great. I mean, let's get one done. Close to maybe the third or fourth week of January, and we can talk about more, and then Vishal can also share his knowledge as well.
That's tradinglight.com, Kevin.
Yeah,
You
that's the
refer
one.
to.
It's not for free though. You have to pay for it.
Let me just share my screen. This one, yeah.
That's the one, guys.
Okay. So this is where you can see where the order
Okay.
books and liquidity levels.
Yeah, and it's a quite common thing for Bitcoin to be spoofed.
Yes, 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 yes. Uh, I found the oh my God. Yeah, it was Trading Light I used Trading Light to pinpoint where when I was talking some time ago about depth charts and order books. I did use the free version though of Trading Light. It was fantastic to see where people are placing their orders across the exchanges.
Yes.
Yeah, it was fantastic. I would definitely highly recommend checking Trading Light as well. All right, guys. Then, if there's no further questions, uh, thank you for joining. It was a great. I had fun. I think everybody learned something as well, and we'll definitely do this in Jan as well. Yeah.
Thanks, everybody. Just one request also on the trading tools side, if there's anything besides trading view, I guess. I just checked out Trading Light. If there are others as well, please share it in the group or share it
Uh,
with the next and pass
so
it on.
one thing I use. Okay, so right now I just started doing on-chain analysis for the group, right? So what I use is lastnode.com. Let me just show it to you.
You have the premium for that.
Yeah, I had to purchase it, otherwise I just could not get up to
Yes.
date data. Hold up, let me screen. So this is what I use for on-chain analysis, right? So they do have an academy as well where you can just learn on like the tools are, but so you can go to metrics or yeah, so studio. You guys can still see my screen, right?
Yeah, we see.
So you have all your metrics for your on-chain analysis here. So right now, of course, we use maybe just 5 of them, really, really good ones. But you need up. You don't get. I mean, a certain metrics you do get up-to-date data. But if you go, okay, so one thing we look at is exchange net position change, right? So on the free version, you don't get all the data. Okay, so you don't get up to date data on the free version. So that's something you might want to consider. So like, so right now, of course, this is the paid version, so you can see it. So as you can see, okay, I was supposed to make the on-chain analysis. So let me just run the first thing by y'all. Okay, so if y'all are seeing, so you can see how we are still accumulating. We're back to accumulating again more Bitcoin. So we can see right now that we can expect a lot more upside to come for Bitcoin. So like that, I would say using Glassnode for on-chain analysis is currently what I do.
Thanks a lot.
No worries. Any more question? Anybody else or any other questions before we end this? Okie dokie then. All right, guys. Thank you for coming. Hope you all learned good stuff on this, and I'll see you all
Thanks.
again in January 3rd or 4th week. Yeah.
Enjoy your holidays, folks.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, guys. See you guys. Bye.